He's a leader. He's got a ring. Love the move. The only way I won't love the move is if somehow this stops them from getting Derek White, but there really should not be a reason because
Correct.
you just simply, if you don't sign Derek White, it's just because of money.
Welcome back to the Old Bull and Young Calf Boston Sports Podcast. And we are on episode 34. And episode 34 is the number of champions in Boston. We got David Ortiz. We got Paul Pierce. We got Shane Vereen, Rex Burkhead. This is a big episode. And with that, we're going to try and deliver some big content to you all and maybe some big news. So my dad has the 3 items we're going to touch on today. Dad, what are we going to do?
So thanks to my son, I managed to peel myself away from the TV and the Ted Lasso show he introduced me to that I'm hooked on. Thanks a lot. Excellent show. Very, very hesitant about it, very skeptical, but it is an excellent show. Almost through the first season already. So we have huge news, people. Big breaking news. Sound the buzzer, sound the alarm. We are going to put the weekly podcast on hold temporarily, hopefully for a while. So what we are going to do is with all these Bruins, Celtics playoff games coming up and the draft, we were going to do a pregame show before every playoff game, and we're going to do a postgame show, and it's going to be live, and it's going to be on Facebook, and we're going to see if you guys want to chime in, throw in your little comments, real time. We'll discuss it, so it's going to be fun. We're probably going to do it about 15 minutes before game time, and go for about 15 minutes after the game. Sometimes it'll be just me, sometimes it'll be just Matt. Sometimes the old bull has a pool party that goes a little late and he might not be in any
Yeah.
condition at the end of a game. So I don't know about that, but we're hoping to get some interaction and go live with that because
Yep.
we can't go week by week because too many games go by, too many games coming up. So we're excited about that. We're going to change it up a little bit. And then what we're going to do this week is there's a lot of little nuggets of news. So we're just going to plow through all that this week in Boston sports. We get a lot of thoughts on a lot of different subjects. Not going to go over them now. So we're just going to hammer through those. And then we're going to finish it off with Steve's high stakes lock of the week. I pushed last week. I mean, again, it's like kissing your aunt. It's not good. It's not bad. It stinks, but I get the lock of the week this week for the last day of the NBA season. So tune in for that. I feel really good about that one. And that's about it, Matt. Start us off.
Yeah. Yep. So like my dad said, it's going to be a big format change. We're really excited for it. Hopefully we do get some engagement from you all and you can chime in and tell us when our takes are good, our takes are bad, predictions for the game. And you can also console us if, heaven forbid we don't clean sweep all the way to the championship and just hold up the cup with no adversity. Cause we would definitely take that, but imagine there's going to be some sadness. Usually my dad and I recluse and go into our little holes and say, all right, next game, but can't hide this time. So, my dad might miss it for a party. I might miss it, because I'm down with the broken spirit. We'll see. So we will move on. Like my dad said, we're just going to hit some things. We are in the dead zone of the year outside of a couple months from now when everything's over and it's just baseball going on and, training camp might start for the Patriots. This is about as dry as it gets. NBA season finishes this weekend. NHL season finishes next Thursday. We don't know who we're playing in either of those, so we really can't sneak peek those. So right off the bat, we're going to go to Old Reliable, and we'll talk about the Patriots. And something was discussed today, and we're going to give this a few minutes of our time. I would like to give it a full NFL season of my time, but, I'll get to that in a second. And that's Tom Brady on some sort of a YouTube, haircut channel where he was asked about picking up the football again, putting on the cleats and getting back on the field. And Brady said that he would be interested if the right team called. And he specifically mentioned the Patriots. The other guy said San Fran 49ers. Brady said, the Patriots. So, Dad, what are your thoughts on that prospect?
I mean, that is just absolute music to my ears. And Matt, I mean, as you know, and everyone else knows up in Worcester, I've been called the karaoke songbird of my generation.
Actually, Brennan is a really talented person. He's a very gifted singer.
I'm really, really good.
How good?
I've been called the songbird of my generation by people who've heard me. That good.
But if there's anything that can top that sweet music, it is the thought of Brady coming back to the Patriots, even if it is just kind of for the end of the season. But you and I talked for a few minutes before, and I want to hear what you would do, Matt, if he did come back. What would, because tell the folks what you said earlier.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah,
want to touch on that.
and I've shared this numerous times in this podcast, but there was no part of me that would have been uncomfortable with mortgaging our future long before Brady went to Tampa and going all in, just shifting dead cap, trading picks, doing whatever we had to do to get the right team around Brady because I didn't care what Brady I got to see as long as I got to see Brady in a Patriots jersey. And this year, number one, I would be tough if he was like, I'll come back at the end of the year. If Kraft could get something guaranteed, I would completely, without hesitation, draft Marvin Harrison Jr. I would get Brady that wide receiver. We were unable to get him through the draft. At least a high draft pick. Of course, we got Edelman, but through the draft, that high draft pick, and just secure him. Whether that turns into Brady for 1 year, 2 years, do whatever we can to build around Brady. Anything to see Brady in a Brady in a Patriots jersey again. That was a very big highlight for me, Dad. Any other small anecdote on that, Dad?
So I actually completely disagree with you. I would love Tom back, but if they're going to do that, I want them to stay the course. I do not want them using this draft to build around Brady, okay?
Build
Who
around
would be
Brady.
lucky to get we'd we'd be lucky to get the last half of the year of. And no, I want that quarterback at number 3 still. If Tom can't live with that, I'm sorry, Tom. I know you're like the bionic man and you are like
Yeah.
a freak, which this proves he wants to come back. Like
Yeah.
I've said all along, he's an absolute lunatic. He has been forever. That's why he was the greatest. But no, I don't want to do that. I want the quarterback still at number 3. I mean, if you hold a gun to my head and say, no, 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 we're not taking a quarterback at 3. We're building around Brady. I would actually want to trade the number 3 pick then
Yeah.
and do that deal with the Vikings, right? Get,
11-23.
you
Yeah.
know, 11-23 next year's first. Whoever if you one of the really top wide receivers slip to that first 11 spot, take them. Left tackle, take them, and then get the opposite position, I guess, with the 24th pick, and then build from there. But
Yeah.
I mean,
We're giving this a
listen,
lot of
this
time.
is
We're giving this a
backwards.
lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean,
It's too
it's not
much time
happening.
because it's not happening. It's a pipe
Brady's
dream.
just reaching for relevance here. Nobody's talked about him in a while.
Yes.
He's not going to
Okay.
happen, guys. But
Yes.
he could Jimmy Garoppolo, Jaden Daniels, right? Just stay longer than Jaden Daniels' rookie contract. But yeah, we're moving on. Sticking to the
Yes.
Patriots. My dad has big emotions about this next one. I'm resigned to the fact that Kraft is just on another planet with his decisions. But we signed Kyle Duggar to a blockbuster deal that's going to keep him in a Patriot uniform for many years to come. One of Belichick's more successful draft picks in the last handful of years. But he's a safety in a safety market that was kind of saturated with safeties not getting big money. It's kind of a position going the similar way to like the running backs. But we gave him a bunch of money, Dad, and that's kind of all my thoughts on this. I'll let you take it away.
Hate it. I can't hate this enough. And it's like I feel like they're so underneath the cap, and they do have to hit a floor
The floor.
that this is like part of. No, there's like a floor to
Oh
the cap.
no.
They have to get to that floor. So to me, this is like, well, this helps us get to that floor. Matt, I've been preaching that forever. I want my money spent on quarterbacks, wide receivers, left tackles, and cornerbacks who can cover and pass rushers. Basically anything that
That's where the game's
enforces
going
your
now.
passing game.
Yeah.
Enforces your passing game or stops the other team's passing game. And safety, I get it's part of stopping the passing game, but it's just nowhere near as important. I would rather that money go to an elite free agent corner. They were out there. Why did you not do that to put that guy with Gonzalez? Now you have two lockdown corners. Throw anybody. We don't even have bums at safeties. We got some Peppers and that Mapu kid's going to be good. And they just brought in another safety who's decent, I guess, like for
The
cheap money.
Bledsoe kid. Yeah.
And you have Bledsoe there too, who's been in the system. He showed a lot of promise.
Really
I
weird move.
hate this signing. It doesn't make
Yeah.
sense to me, but whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Is that what we are now? Are we now the Arizona Coyotes signing players to get above the cap floor? I mean,
Yeah.
shame on Kraft for all this. Mayo having to walk back the whole "we're going to spend money," comment, and now here we are. Here we are, not spending money. Calvin Ridley's in a Titans jersey, and we really have nothing new to look forward to this coming season. Outside of this, what we're going to bring up in number 3 here. Number 3 is the quarterback situation. So there's been a lot of smoke and mirrors. We are in, again, the dirges. I think the dirges is a good word. I think I'm using that properly, of the year, especially of the NFL year. Everyone's lying. This is like a political campaign. And
Mhm.
my dad has some feelings about some of the most recent rumblings. So, Dad, you want to enlighten everybody on what those are and what you think?
So I read a report recently that JJ McCarthy is on the Washington Commanders' radar all of a sudden. What was a lock for Jaden Daniels at number 2, all of a sudden, there's reports that they might be high on JJ McCarthy. And I they don't deserve it because I think to this point it's been so underwhelming, and it feels like a lot of the Belichick is still in Foxborough. But I'm going to give the Patriots credit and say maybe all of this crap that's floated out there about how strongly they're interested in JJ McCarthy, maybe they're Jedi mind tricking the Commanders. Maybe it worked. Maybe they got the Commanders to take a closer look at McCarthy and go, what do the Patriots know? And watch film on him and like, you know what? We like him. And man, if that's what they're doing to get the Commanders to take JJ McCarthy at number 2, so that way both Jaden Daniels and Drake May are there for their picking. Hopefully that would be Jaden Daniels. Oh, I mean, that would be a brilliant move. Do the Patriots deserve to even no, not from what I've seen, but I'm hoping that they're smarter than we
Yeah.
currently think they are because I mean it feels like it's working. And there's a report out recently that Jaden Daniels' visit with the Commanders didn't go very well. Like
Yep.
it was
And
very
that was
lukewarm. So man,
Yeah, and I don't know if you heard they shared that with Jaden Daniels, that report, and he just said he was looking forward to his visits coming up. He didn't actually dispel that. He didn't can say no, 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 no. Caleb Williams actually, I think, came out recently and said that he would play for the Bears. Right? He had came out and verbally dispelled that. And Jaden Daniels didn't formally say that he doesn't want to play for the Commanders when somebody straight up asked him that, and he was just like, "I'm looking forward to my visits." That's an odd answer.
mm,
So it's there's a lot of moving parts
oh,
here. Adam Peters is the Commanders' general manager, so he's going to be making the call. Adam Peters was also in the 49ers system when the whole Mac Jones smoke and mirrors situation was going on, right? And they ended up taking the guy whose name is escaping me because he ended up being a complete dud. Who's the quarterback they took third overall? They traded all those picks for, and they ended up trading him to the Cowboys.
oh God, Trey Lance.
Trey Lance. They ended up taking Trey Lance.
Yeah.
I wonder
Mm.
if he learned from that and is like, maybe I want that tried true champion and I go for the JJ McCarthy because that's what,
Uh,
because he was also smoking mirrors around them taking Mac Jones. Maybe he was a part of wanting Mac Jones. I think JJ McCarthy and Mac Jones are similar. I think Mac Jones is a better quarterback, especially in college. I don't think JJ McCarthy is a good quarterback in college. I think he's a winner,
better athlete.
better athlete. I think he's more of a winner, but less of a crybaby. But Yeah, we'll see. I think it's still going to be 1, 2, 3. I don't think there's going to be any spice on draft day. But yeah, Dad, what do you got?
Oh man, let me tell you, if that works and Jaden Daniels slips to us, oh baby, there's
Oh,
gonna be
yeah.
some dancing on this podcast. Even you might bust out your sneaky good
Oh
dance
yeah.
moves. We will both be two happy fellas if we get
Oh
Jaden
yeah.
Daniels and the Patriots. Oh, quick question. What would you take? 1 year of Tom Brady, just one more year of Tom Brady, not knowing what you're gonna get out of it, or
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels?
I would. Uh, do I get Marvin Harrison?
I mean, yeah, I guess you
Yeah, then
get
I'll take
Marvin
Brady.
Harrison.
I'll take Brady. There's
Wow.
nothing that Jaden Daniels could do this year or next year that's gonna make me not like pick him over Brady. I'm sorry, Jaden. I'm sorry. Now, uh, s- you know, similar to the second one, we're gonna talk about a player re-signing. Drew Holiday re-signed. I think it was a 4-year deal, 135. Um, I really love it. I think Drew is a winner. A lot of people are dogging it, like, oh well, wait till you see him in the playoffs. He sucks in the playoffs, whatever. He was the second option on some really injured
Yeah.
and belabored Bucks teams. Somebody's like, "Oh, what about that game when he shot 5 for 20 against the Nets?" It's like he will never shoot 20 shots in a game. He would be lucky to shoot 20 shots
Not for the
over the course of
Celtics.
3 games. Yeah. So, if he's shooting 20 shots, we're already kind of screwed, to be honest. What I hope he can be for us in the playoffs is a momentum stopper, getting into the post, bringing in and doing those little shots and slowing down the game a bit more. So I think his role is really flipped on its head. I'm really excited to have him. I'm excited for him to kind of slide into that Al Horford role. Um, Hopefully, he ages in a similarly graceful way and contributes to winner even in his winning and even his later years. So definitely happy about it. I think one sneaky thing is his contract next year dropped. It would have been 39 million with his option. It is 30 million, which saves the Celtics somewhere around like $40 million in tax. So that was a bit of a sneaky move there. So yeah, Dad, what are your thoughts on that?
I absolutely love the move. And you're absolutely right, Matt. That's really deceptive, his playoff numbers, because again, he was asked to be the number two guy. So he's
Yep.
forcing up more shots. He's getting more attention from the other team. He's like I mean, in the starting lineup, he's
Fifth
like the
option.
fifth option. I
Yep.
mean, it's insane. Like, he's a lockdown defender. He does have trouble with really fast, shifty guards.
Yep.
But if the guard isn't shifty, if it's someone bigger than him, he just locks them down. He's sneaky good with his hands. He does those strip
Oh
steals
yeah.
all the time. I love that
Gets a lot of
stuff.
respect from the refs too. Gets a lot of respect from the refs.
A lot of yeah, he doesn't. He's one of the few Celtics that doesn't argue. Like, hopefully that starts rubbing off. He's a leader. He's got a ring. Love the move. The only way I won't love the move is if somehow this stops them from getting Derek White, but there really should not be a reason, because
Correct.
you just simply, if you don't sign Derek White, it's just because of money. The money. It's not because of
Yeah.
Drew Holiday.
Correct. It's not my
So
money
I
either.
won't
It's
even
not your
blame.
money.
Yeah, it's not my money. I won't blame Drew Holiday. I'll blame Grossbeck. But to this point, Grossbeck's the man. He's the poorest. Sounds crazy. He is the poorest owner in Boston, and he is spending like a banshee, like a madman, because all he wants to do is win. Thank God for Wick Grossbeck. Thank God for Brad Stevens. Oh man, I just loving it. And God, if we could please, it's so crucial. Again, not to state the obvious, win a championship this year. It just enforces us to keep everything together and take that next steps toward the D word. You know
Yep.
which D word I'm talking about. So,
Oh yeah.
I love the signing. Glad he's around, and good stuff there. Good job,
Yeah.
Brad.
Yeah. So, staying on that Celtics train, they lost these last 2 games in weird fashion. You can tell they're really not running too much. You can tell they're kind of going through these games really slow, giving up a lot of offensive rebounds. They're not closing out. There's been a lot of times when I saw the other team kick out and our player look at the player, not actually close out like they normally would. Jalen Brown's done it a few times. And I'm wondering if a lot of that is, they're trying to save their body. So I wanted to bring this in because I'm really curious how you think they should approach these next two games. So this next one's on a back to back, and then the other one is against, I think, Washington. Is that how they end the season? It's Washington and Charlotte, right? Yeah. So the
Yeah.
final one's against Washington. At any point, Dad, do you tell them to take these games as seriously as a playoff game, or do you just let it ride?
No, if I had my way, all the top 6 would completely sit out
Oh,
tomorrow.
wow.
Don't want any of them. And then I would have all of them play the last game of the year, like good minutes, but play like they have been playing. In other words, it's blatantly obvious. They're not defending as hard. Like you said, they're not going for 50-50 balls. They're getting crushed on the defensive glass. And that's defensive rebound is usually simply hustle. It's almost
Yeah.
always hustle. Some of it's height, but it's mostly hustle. They're being careful. Nobody wants to get injured. I don't mind that. I am a little peeved and concerned with the missed wide open shots all of a sudden. Like they're still getting wide open shots and missing them. Like I'm
Correct.
hoping that's
That is
not a
frustrating.
concern. Yeah, so but otherwise, nope, I don't have a problem with their playing. They're not you could tell. You could tell they're playing different because nobody wants to get hurt leading up to the playoffs, and I don't have a problem with that. So I would sit everyone tomorrow and play everyone good minutes last game of the year, but play like they have been. Very
Okay.
careful, like almost a half
Yeah.
effort, like a
I mean,
practice.
this was going to be one of our bullet points. We didn't put in here, but you saw what happened to Giannis. They just kind of crumbled. Then Brunson had a really scary moment at the end of the third, where Springer ran into his knee. I wasn't too sure if he was going to get up. So yeah, no, I just really don't want them to get caught with their pants down. I'm really hoping they can flip that switch. If they win the championship this year and they do this next year, I'm going to be a lot less concerned. I'm just nervous. I'm nervous that they haven't played competitive basketball in well over a week. And they're going to have at least, I think, another week and a half before they really get to the playoffs. And whoever they face has been fighting and clawing and just like they've been in a zone for probably the last month or so, right? This has been a team on the bubble. So I'm really hoping they don't get caught with their pants down and lose. So we'll see. All right. So let's move on to the next one, and that is the NHL. And this is, again, why it's so difficult for us to, and why we're kind of having this medley of a podcast is because there's really nothing concrete to talk about. We went over it a bit last week, potential opponents and everything like that. And one of the things my dad highlighted was how close we are to jumping the Rangers and what that means. Because, at the end of the day, to win the cup, you need to be able to beat everybody, right? But does that really mean we really got to beat the Lightning in round one, Dad? So why don't you give the rundown, Dad, of maybe some points left on the table? What's going on here and catching the New York Rangers and what that would mean for us?
That was a sneaky big loss by the Bruins the other day against
Against the
Carolina.
Hurricanes. Yep.
That one hurts a lot. The Rangers are actually on a 2-game losing streak. If we had just won that Carolina game, the situation would be the Bruins have a game in hand and they'd only be 1 point back. In other words, they would control their own destiny. And that is huge because the ramifications of coming in second is playing the Lightning. Whereas if you just beat Carolina and you were in the driver's seat and you do take home that number 1 seed, you play all these bums who are just scrapping to get to that 8th spot. And let me tell you, they're bums. They're not the Florida team. There isn't like a Florida Panthers team lurking like last year. It's not the Lightning. Any of these teams, Flyers, Penguins, Capital, any of these, we wipe the floor with them. The Lightning, I still think we can beat the Lightning, but again, it's probably going to be 7. It's probably going 7. It's going to be a grind, and so man, I really wish we won that Carolina game. I'd be a lot more optimistic about, getting out of that first round. Now, getting out of that first round is going to be a tractable.
Yep, it's kind of man. I would feel so much more comfortable facing an Islanders or a Capitals or one of those teams. The Lightning, like my dad shared, my dad has shared, have really turned it on. And it's tough. It's like the Heat. They have players who really do flip a switch. They're
Mhm.
the switch exists, and these teams they don't try that hard. They squeak into the playoffs, and then they get professional because they're winners, right? And it would suck
Battle
to
tested.
face it would suck to face battle tested winners in the first round of the playoffs, especially after the year we had. Big games coming up. The Rangers have one game that means a lot to the Islanders, so the Islanders are going to be playing them hard, and then they have a throwaway game against Ottawa, the last game of the season. We have really two games against two tough opponents because the Penguins are playing for a spot. They're probably not going to get one. Well, actually, they might get one. The Penguins and the Capitals, and then we have a throwaway game against. My bad, I'm blanking. Ottawa. So we I guess we both
Mhm.
finished with Ottawa, us and the Rangers. So there's a chance here. It's just going to be tough. But bring it
Yeah,
on if it's Lightning, I guess, right?
absolutely. We
Yeah.
should still beat them.
Yep. All right. The final little anecdote here. We haven't touched on this at all, but in light of the national news it's getting, I think we would do it a disservice to not at least mention it. And that is the Caitlin Clark experience. She has become such a household name. I'm pretty sure the last game they had beat out like every NBA Finals game or something crazy like that. Almost every college football game this year, outside of like a handful. So really bringing a spotlight to that. Dad, what are your thoughts on the Caitlin Clark experience and how that's gone?
I mean, I don't. I was one of the few people who didn't watch it. If I was the WNBA and even the NBA, man, I would just, I hate to say this, take advantage of that girl and treat her like she's Michael Jordan, LeBron
I'm sure she
James.
wouldn't mind.
You get a
I'm sure she wouldn't mind.
you get a piggyback off that. You get a off this momentum, off the buzz. From what I understand, she's starting to rub people the wrong way a little bit. That's okay. Be
Yeah.
polarizing. That helps. There's no such thing as bad headlines. So I feel like if they're smart, they would get their marketing team in and they would do everything they can to promote her and get those eyes on the TV and hopefully it all works out for the league and the product is as good as advertised and it grows. I
Yeah.
mean, will I ever have huge interest? I don't know. I mean, I'd give it a try and I'd watch. Someone I
Yeah.
heard had a good suggestion, which was get rid of the team, like the names, and just go with like the NBA team that's close by.
Yeah.
So get a women's Celtics team. Get
Yeah.
the name
That'd be
brand, the
so much better
recognition.
marketing. So much better marketing. Yeah. Right away. Right
Go with
away, I
that.
would cheer for that
Yeah,
team. Yeah. I mean, even the main Celtics have been playing, and I've been watching them, and I think they might have lost today to the Oklahoma City Blue because they're in the finals. But yeah,
yeah,
I totally agree. It's great for the sport. Love to see the representation. Hopefully it inspires, you know, more girls to pursue basketball. It is a really fun sport. Um, you know, I watch I watch the games and she definitely has talent, a bit of a chucker, like, really likes to take those long threes. So it would probably like it's tough for me. I watch college and I watch the Celtics and NBA, and it's such high level play in the NBA. I really love where the league's at. My dad mentioned the parity, the skill level, across the league right now. And you just really can't find that anywhere else. So I have to kind of take it into context, and she is special in that context. So yeah, kudos to her. Hopefully, you know, she can really ride that wave and bring a bit more attention to that side of the sport. So we'll see. And yeah, I think that's all of our quick hits for the the sports and our thoughts. So the final segment is Steve's high stakes. So he did give a bit of a spoiler that last week, if you bet some money on it, you just got your money back. You got to live another day. What is the play for this week, Dad, as we close the NBA season? And then we're gonna have to start finding the new gambling aspect, or is my dad going to go into the playoffs? So we'll see.
No,
What
I'll
do you got,
go into
Dad?
the playoffs. The
Nice,
playoffs are actually easier because you don't have to
nice.
worry about guys sitting out. So
Yeah.
definitely easier to handicap basketball playoffs, that's for sure, over these meaningless regular season games. The only game I could really find that I thought had significance was the last game in year, last day, the Golden State Warriors against the Jazz. Golden State, they've made the playoffs, but they have the same amount of losses as the Lakers. And trust me when I say they're one game behind in the win column. They would love to get home court. So there's a chance on that last game they are fighting for home court against the Jazz, who will be making golf reservations during that game. It's going to be a high point spread. So get ready for that. But, I would just think that they're going to come out on a mission. The Jazz, it'll be the last game of the year. They're just going to pack it in. They're getting blown out. They're not going to fight to get back in that game. So, it's probably going to be around 15 points or whatever the case may be. But if Golden State is fighting for that home spot, go with Golden State.
All right. You heard it here first, everybody. And I completely agree. There's a lot of games in the NBA that are very strange right now. Golden State's playing tonight against the Portland Trailblazers, and the Trailblazers haven't been playing for anything in I don't know how long. And the Warriors need this win. And the Celtics, they played the Knicks tonight, and the Knicks needed this win. This was huge for them. And this game couldn't mean anything less for the Celtics other than rhythm, shaking off rust, and not getting injured. So it's scary hours in the NBA. So yeah, I think that's everything. And we really hope to hear or see a bunch of people on the live streams. Any comments, we're going to try and read them live. Any input people have, we appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, wish us luck on this, because this is going to be a big commitment, and we're hoping to do it for many games. Hopefully, only 4 series, and we're winning all of them. But yeah, Dad, any other thoughts?
I mean, might want to tune in for post game, especially if it's a Friday, Saturday night. I mean, I don't know if I'm home and I'm
I might have
involved,
to cut you off.
and it was a angry. If you might get angry old bull if it's a bad loss, I tell you that. So it might be worth tuning in. I can't,
Yeah, there's a nice little
can't
mute
control
button.
myself. I have a little there, so
Yeah, I got a nice little mute button right here, so I can keep everybody safe. All the
keep
kids,
that
all the kids.
handy. Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, thanks everybody. Shorter episode, but again, we're about to really kick off and get a bit crazy here in these next week or so. So, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Especially our diehards. Love you guys. Take
Do the
care.
best.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
I don't know where to begin. We are North American.